about healthy boundaries with people and having healthy relationships. The last one might sound bizarre to you, but boy, is it true. That is, we have healthy boundaries with God. And I remember when I first read this years ago, after having, I think at the time I was going through my PhD, and it never occurred to me. I never thought about it. Never thought about boundaries in God. Just never. And at first I thought, what in the world? And the more I read it, the more I read what they were reflecting on, it was good. And it really helped me, as we'll say here, we'll see more in a little bit, but it helped me in my prayer life. It helped me come to more closure that God can say no sometimes. Oh, that's got to help me. So anyway, healthy boundaries with God, we'll do that, and then we'll do a wrap-up. So we'll just jump right in, instead of review, and we'll just jump right in there. So on page 15, God is the source of all boundaries. Can you believe that? You say, of course he's God. It's this church, you have to say that. But not really. He's not the source of evil and so forth. But even within himself, a triune being, the persons of Father, Son, Spirit, they're not interchangeable or confused. There's limits there. And I like to think about that when I think about my own physical skin boundaries. As I said, we talk about when you're a baby and a child, you're supposed to learn there's a boundary. There's a separation between myself and the other people. And skin is the best way to demarcate where I end and you begin. That's what's supposed to happen. And when that is violated, it really, from the rest of your life, it can mess things up. But that's what's supposed to happen. Well, God is like that too. He has boundaries within himself, the Father, Son, and Spirit. And if you have questions about Trinity, we can talk about that too. But I also have a study on my YouTube channel on David Pendergrass. I think it's David Pendergrass Ministries. But I had a study on Trinity, which I'll probably do here at some point too. But God respects our boundaries, our responsibilities. And here's some examples of how God respects us and our boundaries. For example, God assumes that his role is different from our roles. That's a good example of boundaries. It's not my job, neither is your job. God assumes that we have work to do. God doesn't do it all. Now, he can inspire us. That is to say, he can give us advice. He can give us strength. He can give us wisdom. But he fully understands there's his job description and our job description, and they are not coterminous. They're not the same thing. They're not synonymous. They are not. And that's oftentimes very hard for average people. And I notice a lot with skeptics. I'm going for a long time here, and I won't. I'll nerd out for a second. There's a lot of confusion on that our moral responsibilities are the same as God's moral responsibilities, and that's simply not true. It's just not true. And simple analogies help us all the time. We think about what we do with other people's. Back to my original analogy of the whole class. My neighbors had a horse in a barn. I had my truck, and they said, "Why is my horse dirty?" I said, "What are you talking about?" That simple analogy, it works. That is, it's not my responsibility to take care of your horse. It's not your responsibility to take care of my truck. Well, those are different moral responsibilities. Well, it's like that with God and humans. God has moral responsibilities to stay true to his own word, his own promise, because he's issued a promise. But he's not responsible like I'm responsible. For example, I'm responsible for taking care of my truck. God's not responsible for taking care of my truck, no more than my neighbor is. I'm responsible for raising my children the best I can. You're not responsible for it, nor is God. There are different moral responsibilities depending on the situation and the relationship. And that's exactly how it works with God. There's no difference. He has a role, and we have a role, and they're not the same. Now, outside of rare miracles, we're to provide for the widows and orphans. That's exactly what James says. Right? He said, remember in James 1:27? True religion is this, the one where we take care of widows and orphans. We have a job to do, take care of the poor. We have the moral obligation that God has placed upon us. God is not morally responsible to make sure all people are not poor. We're morally responsible to make sure we're helping those who are poor. We are to provide for the financial need of others. That's exactly what Paul says to Timothy in 1 Timothy 6 to 17 and 18. And we can read it if you want. I have the reference here. 1 Timothy 6, 17 and 18. Those who are wealthy are supposed to take care of others. It's our responsibility. God could make money appear. He can make food appear in a belly. Bread could just show up and I feel full. What happened? I must have eaten pizza. God could do that. That's not his moral responsibility. He doesn't want to do that. He wants us to make sure food gets in their belly and their financial needs are met. We're to make disciples. That's why he told his disciples, go make disciples. He didn't say, it's been real. What do we do, Jesus? Oh, no, we're done. That's cool. Thank you. I'm going to appear in a dream for billions of people. I don't need you. Well, he doesn't need us, but he does want us. And that's the difference. We are here to make disciples. We are to grow in our salvation. Philippians 2:12, right? Continue to work out your salvation with fear and trembling, for it is he who has a work will within inside in you. And on it goes. You see the difference? I want to pause there for a second. Does that make sense? He has moral responsibilities. We have moral responsibilities. Are not the same. And that's how we can be held accountable, because we have a job to do. Just like if my children's job to clean their room, they get in trouble. It was their job to do. It wasn't my job to do. It's your job to do. Also to be praised when they do it well, because they did their job. Good job. God, the second example, so one is God assumes we have different roles. Secondly, God allows us to feel our emotions even when we don't like what God is doing. That's good stuff to me. That's really good for me. This means that God allows us to be angry with him. You can read through the Psalms. I listed some Psalms here, like Psalm 39, 42 to 43, 88, 130, Job 13. There's tons of Psalms of lament. They're mad at God. They're sad about what he's not done, they thought he was going to do. They're sad because he's not answered a prayer the way they thought he was going to. And they're sad. They're upset. Do you understand that when we think of God the Father in the heavenly realms, he's okay with whatever strong emotion or weak emotion we have? He's just okay with that. He allows us to feel emotions. Every time we get mad at God, if you ever get mad at God, some people won't even admit it. No, I would never do that. I have too much faith. Well, that's good. I have got mad at God because, and I know I'm wrong. That is, my reasons are wrong, but I felt it right in the moment, which is he deserved it, or maybe he didn't do something I thought he was going to do, or someone got hurt I didn't want to get hurt, or maybe I was hurt and I didn't want to get hurt, and I get mad at him. Well, God doesn't zap me all of a sudden. I feel happy toward God. No, because you can't feel angry at God. He will disallow that. Or that he's Zeus with lightning bolts and he's going to punish me because I felt mad at him. No, he allows us to feel feelings. That almost sounds like what we've talked about the whole session, right? With us and other people. We're supposed to let people feel things. Because like a thermometer, thermostat on the wall, it's just the temperature. And so God lets us feel things toward him. He lets that. He says, no, you can feel that. You can feel it all you want. Your reasons for being upset are probably or they're going to be wrong, because I'm never wrong, but he lets us feel the feelings. I like that. The third thing is God respects our boundaries in this life. Now think about that, how many times in the ministry of Jesus, people left him. Remember in John chapter 6, Jesus says, unless you eat my flesh and drink my blood, you cannot be my disciple. And it says, you took off. It says that in John 6:66. That's a good verse to remember. 6:66. And it says, and everyone left because it says, because of this hard saying. And then he looks over the disciples and the apostles and says, what about you? You going to leave me too? And he says, we've left everything. Who else are we going to follow? Man, look around. They left him, and he let them do that. Mark 14:50. Jesus tells Big Peter, you're going to deny me 3 times. But he looks at all the other disciples and says, in fact, you all will abandon me. People give Pete a hard time. But poor Pete did the best job he just did. He failed. But what he said was, all the disciples will abandon me. And that's exactly what happened. It says, and verse 50, and they all fled. And he let them go. Jesus didn't run after him. No, wait, come back. I didn't mean to offend you. I didn't mean to hurt your feelings. No. He gave people permission to reject him. Including now. He does. People all over the globe can hear the gospel. I don't want anything to do with it. He told parables that spoke of God respecting people's boundaries, like the prodigal son, Luke 15:11, which of course the father represents God, and the son says, Father, I want all my inheritance on my portion of the inheritance right now. He takes that money, goes off to Vegas, spends it on booze and women. He's sitting there with the pigs, and he goes, man, the pigs eat better than I do. I know what? I'll go back home and ask God, I got it all figured out. Okay, I'll just work for him, and he'll maybe give me a job, because maybe he'll be merciful, and he's planning his prayer life. He goes back, and the father just sees him, pulls up his pants. It's a shameful scene because he runs and grabs him a hug. You know this. You've heard the story before, right? So he allows the son to get it and run off. He allows that. God always gives people the freedom to receive him or reject him. He does. You might say, well, what about the stories like the Apostle Paul or maybe Moses, but like Paul? Well, Paul had the freedom, always had the freedom to reject Jesus. If a miracle happened and God showed up all of a sudden, well, they didn't have the freedom not to see him in the moment. Right, like right now if he appeared. Right. I don't have the freedom, since I can see, without not seeing the camera, unless I close my eyes. My point is, that's just the way it is. God can appear all of a sudden, sure. That doesn't mean I've lost the capacity to accept or reject him. Even Paul had that. Everyone has that freedom. That's a boundary. He lets us say no to him. That's amazing. Now, having a child, 2 children, it's amazing to me to think that I could tell my own children. I mean, they have the ability to say no to me. They don't have to be around Dad at all. That made me very, very sad. I can imagine it from the perspective of God. A lot of people do that. The fourth thing is God will hold each person responsible. That is, he'll be a judge for what each person has done while on earth. Like it says in Romans, therefore each of us will give an account of himself to God. That is, God will not hold us responsible for what other people do on earth. He won't. At Judgment Day, he won't go, Jennifer, why did you let him do that? He won't. Well, what were you thinking and smoking when you let all your siblings do? Why didn't you stop them? You know what they were thinking? You know what they were feeling? Oh, actually, God, no, I didn't know all that because I'm not you. Well, forget it. Sometimes you knew, and you should have made them think differently. You should have made, no, it will not happen. What happened? Woo, that's good news. I got enough junk on my own plate. I don't need everyone else's plates. That's good news. But he will hold us responsible. Author of Hebrews 4:13, it is appointed for man to die once and to be judged afterward. We will be held responsible. That's a boundary issue. And last but not least, God respects our boundaries in the world to come. He will never, ever force us to love him. Ever. And that's what hell is. Hell is God respecting our boundaries forever if we reject him. That's what it is. Forever. He'll say, all right, that's what you want. I want to give you what you want. You want me, I'll give you that. There's forgiveness and love and purpose and everything and the ultimate good there is. If you don't want me, you don't have to have me. I love what one person said, being with Jesus. You ever been around people who are, maybe you look to them, they're funny, clever, they're kind, they're humble, and people like them all the time. They make you kind of sick, like, oh, they're so likable and they say the right thing all the time. And on top of that, they're handsome or pretty or whatever. It's just, if you find yourself going, oh, especially if you really find that person a challenge to you, you're going to hate Jesus. You'll hate him. Because if you feel a little bit towards other mere mortals now, not mere, but if that's how you feel now, you're going to really hate Jesus. Everyone likes him. And the world will come, everyone will look up to him. Everyone will love him. He'll just, oh, they love him. And he'll say, I won't make you be like that. If that's too much for you, if that makes you mad on the inside, I won't force you to be in my presence. Now, that will be horrible. Childish people go, yeah, that'd be great because hell's going to be full of partying. They've never, ever studied hell in the New Testament. But it's like asking a meth addict, isn't it awesome? Yeah, I'm addicted to meth. They've got acne all over them. They weigh 40 pounds. Everyone they've known has cut them off because they've stolen all the money they've stolen all their property. Now their whole family's addicted. They sleep on the street and vomit and urine. Yeah, I'm living the good life. I do what I want. It's like that if you don't want Jesus. I mean, it's ridiculous. Any rational, normal, sane person goes, I don't want that. Yeah, but I can do what I want to do. Mm-hmm. So what? To me, that doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. I don't want to do what I want to do because that's what it means. In the Christian worldview, that's what it means. You live like a meth addict and you're proud of it. But God will respect our boundaries and go, hey, you want to be a metaphorical meth addict? I'm not going to force myself upon you. Now, let me pause here for a second. Any questions or comments about God respecting our boundaries or how God demonstrates these kind of limits? My job, your job, so forth. Any question or comments? Anything? Online too? I didn't use it because it's echoey. I'm yelling at the camera so they can hear me. Yeah. All right. Now, any questions or comments? Anything? Ever thought about that before much? No? Yeah? I had never thought of it in those terms before, like God has boundaries, until reading the boundaries books. Like I said years ago, but I thought, man, that's true. And now I see it all the time. I mean, I read a narrative of the gospel and by Jesus saying this or don't do that or do this, and those are boundaries. Pharisee gets mad at him, tries to trick him, or they run off because, oh, who does he think he is? And God just lets them go. He's respecting their boundaries. My children were little. I had them use it. I said this last week on purpose that if you train children with the vocabulary of boundaries, it's very good. And as soon as they could almost talk, they were saying things like, respect my no. No, Hayden, respect my no. That's his mom. And Julie would say the same. I'm kidding. Julie said that all the time. Said, tell him, Hayden, respect my no. Dad, he's not respecting my no. God respects our no. Okay, bottom of 15. We should respect God's boundaries. God's always responsible for what he wants and feels. Always responsible for what he wants and feels. He is. Yeah, he's responsible. Parents should never, ever say this to children. Oh, that makes God very angry. You know what you made God feel? Golly, I'm 4 years old and I made God feel something. What if he doesn't get over it? Does God need therapy? The answer is no, he didn't know. Now, listen, we tell people sometimes that doesn't make God happy to do that, but sure, I get it, right? If we're telling the children about the nature of sin and consequences, that is say it's not a good thing. I just prefer, theologically speaking, saying God, that's not how God designed life, and that's not good. That doesn't make God happy. That's not the way God wants. So if we emphasize things like it's just a fact, it's not good, it's not right, that's not the way God wants us to live, it can stay away from this vocabulary that I'm responsible for how God, and old kids up there in heaven, they picture maybe like a Santa Claus figure. He's all of a sudden, he's just distraught. It makes God so sad when you do that. Knock that off. But a lot of people never grow up out of that. They become an adult and they still think they're walking around and your daily choices make God feel things. God doesn't need therapy. So we don't make him feel anything. The biblical narratives throughout Old and New Testament can give metaphors for God feeling a certain way. Fine. It's a way to express God's disposition toward us. He loves us. He feels compassion. So great. Good. But the idea that I'm responsible for making him feel a certain way is nonsense. Just like we said before, I don't make you feel something. You don't make me feel things. My beliefs are already inside me. And then how you treat me causes my beliefs to make a feeling come up. That's how that works. Outside of sensations, like if you slap my hand and my body sends signal like I just did to my brain and says, oh, that stings. Right? There's a physical. But any kind of emotional thing I feel is up to me. It just is. And I go on for tons of examples with that. But that's why when you meet people who are wounded and maybe they went to a car wreck before and I were driving down the road and I hit the brake pad and they go, what happened? What? Well, you make me so upset. No, I don't make you anything. I hit the brake pad. I don't make you feel anything. What happened was you're scared and you have a little PTSD of the wreck, and this feeling, this sensation going forward reminds the brain of a trauma you went through. But I didn't make you feel that. And you didn't make me feel that if you hit the brake because I haven't gone through the trauma. It doesn't make me do it. It's based on beliefs or the way you looked at me. Where does that come from? When I was a child, my mom used to make that. There it is. But I didn't make you feel that. It's based on beliefs. Well, we don't make God feel things. We don't make him feel things. We certainly don't make him have a disposition toward us. He's responsible for his own feelings. We won't responsible. Is God sad? It's my fault. I hope he gets over it. I hope God learns to forgive me. That's not on us. That's not on our shoulders. God will feel and desire and do whatever he wants to do. Whatever he wants to do. So he has a response. He has a disposition, but we're not morally responsible for his long-term feelings. God always has the right to say no to us. He has the right to say no whenever he wants. Paul said this to Corinthians. I asked God 3 times to take this thorn out of my flesh. God said, he didn't say in the translating Greek, it said no, but he says, no, my grace is sufficient for you because my strength is made perfect in weakness. That's a big fat no. He said no to Jesus. I had a sermon not long ago on prayer. We talked about God saying no. I gave several more examples of when God says no. That's a boundary. That's a boundary. That really helps me in life too, because I picture myself as a parent telling my children, and that didn't really. A lot of times, a lot of things in the Bible don't click well until you're a parent. Frankly, for a lot of people, and I was one of them. But it really clicks with me when I start having children. I love them. I adore them. I would do anything at all that I thought was for their good. I would do anything that I thought was for their good, including saying no to them. And when I say no to them, even if they request it over and over and over, and I say no, it doesn't mean I cease to exist. It doesn't mean I turn into a villain. Even if they can't comprehend, even if their request to stop still causes them pain. When they were little babies and they got shots, immunizations, and it hurt their legs, and they had to cry for a little bit. Even though I took them to a place to get that, and I knew full well it would cause them pain. I still didn't cease to exist. I still didn't become a meanie head. Even if my daughter, who was, whatever months old, could have said, please don't do it. And I would have said, no, please let this cup pass from me. I don't want the shots. No, this is for your good. God has the ability to say no to us. And that helps remind me that he can still be good and say no, regardless if we understand it. When we try to force God to do something, we're not respecting his boundaries, right? Have you ever bartered with God? I mean, it's the classic movie scene. God, if you'll just get me out of this situation, I swear I'll go to church the rest of my life. I'll serve the poor in Thailand. No, Taiwan. I was at Thailand. No, you can ask God to change his mind. That is, God, please do it this certain way. Like in Luke 18, the woman comes and she knocks on the door in the parable and begs the neighbor to come out, please. And says, because you're importunate. That is, because you keep asking over and over. Okay, sure, fine, you can do that. You can find that. But it's not okay to do something immoral, risky, unwise to test him. And in my opinion, there's a whole spectrum, particularly in Pentecostal tradition and some black church traditions, where they'll really say, you're not really having faith unless you're doing something so far and risky, God's got to come and rescue you all of a sudden. That's, as a blanket statement, that's nerve-wracking. I'd say it's bad theology as a blanket statement. We're not going to force God to show his hand. You're not having faith until you make God show. That just sounds like you're trying to manipulate God. And that's not biblical. That's bad theology to manipulate him. But we don't want to try to do anything. God, if you'll scratch I'll scratch your back if you scratch mine. Look, I'll do all this stuff for you. I talked about that a long time ago in a sermon. That's what the ancient Greeks and Romans did. So when Jesus says, don't be like the Gentiles or the pagans, the heathens, who throw up empty phrases. They heap up huge empty phrases and on and on. They got to say the right thing like it's a magical incantation. Don't do that. Your Heavenly Father knows exactly what you need. Instead, pray like this. And then he tells that what we call the model prayer. You don't try to manipulate God with fancy words, fancy expressions, praying in the King James Version. Heavenly Fathereth in heaveneth, we loveth thee. I mean, no one talks that way. They didn't talk that way when they even did the King James Version. No one talked that way. Everyone knows if you're English literature, that was high literature for the time. Nobody even spoke that way. But people today pray like that. And a lot of times, if we're not careful, we're doing that because we're trying to get God to do something for us. Because surely God is impressed by my piety and he loveth that the way I say it. And that's silly. That's bad theology. It means you have a misunderstanding of who God is if you think he's got to do something for you because you did something for him. That's not how it works. It's just not how it works. I've had family members sometimes who do their clothes for me, my clothes, just be sweet. And they might say so later on down the road, if they want me to do something, I can't take them somewhere where I say, I'm sorry, I know. And all those clothes I did for you, I mean, I have looked at people as soon as they say it, I look at them and say, thank you so much for letting me know that's why you did it. Please don't ever do that for me again. Ever. Do you understand? And I'll wait for an answer. I don't care how awkward it is. I wait. Oh, I didn't mean that. You sure you didn't? Oh, no, I was just kidding. Didn't sound like you're kidding. But I'm going to be very clear. Please don't ever do anything for me if you're doing it with strings attached. That's not how I give gifts. That's not how I want to receive them. That's how it is with God. This is so amazing to me. When God does something, I'll talk about in a second. When God gives, he's not because you forced him. You didn't show him his hand. God never feels guilty. Never. He never feels manipulated. Look at that bottom of the thing at the bottom of page 16 there. Because exactly, whatever God does, he does utterly freely. It is utterly free. He's never under any compulsion to do anything ever. He's never driven by guilt or manipulation. He never resents what he does. He gives and loves with absolute freedom. Think about that. The closest you can get to God saying God is under compulsion, the closest you could get is what I believe, which is one Christian way of understanding morality called the divine command theory. That is, something is morally binding if God commands it. There's different theories. That's probably the dominant Orthodox view. It's not the only view. So if God gives himself a command, then he has to follow it. So it's like God promises to do so, and he says, and I'm faithful. Well, he's got to be faithful because he just said he's got to be to himself, as it were. There is no moral commandment above him. That's the closest you can get to a concept of compulsion or moral duty. But besides that, it's still no other creature that could conceivably exist makes God do anything. When God saves you, it's just because he loves you. It's just free. You can't pay for it. You can't give it. Even if you tried to, you'd say, what are you doing? C.S. Lewis is exactly right here, which is amazing. We might try our best to give God everything we are, and we still don't do that because we don't give him everything we are because we're humans and frail and sinners. Moreover, whatever it is we give him of ourselves was already his in the first place. He said, you're like if I gave my son $5 and he said, Daddy, I want that money. I want to buy you a treat. Well, great, but I need $5. Can you have it? Give me $5? Well, sure, here you go. Well, I still am pleased with the gift he gives me, but no one in the right mind thinks I'm better off on the $5 deal. That was my $5. I'm glad you took it to buy some, but it's my money. At no point was it ever yours. It's like that with us and God. At no point are we independent. So we finally give to God and serve his needs, or serve his will, rather, his will. Good. It was already his in the first place. And if he gives something to us, he says, I mean, wonderful, but no, that's not why I did it. But I was a good boy. That's not why I did it. I was a good little girl. Not really, but that's not why I did it. I mean, that's amazing to me. It's because I prayed just right. I sang just right. No. The lighting was just right. No. Nope. Nothing you do makes me do what I do. It's just a free gift. It's just a free gift. When I give you peace or wisdom, strength, endurance, when the fruit of the Spirit works inside your life and heart, it's just a gift. It's always just a gift, and it's a phenomenal gift. Now, when we maintain anger or resentment because he didn't do what he wanted, we're not respecting his boundaries. Think about that. Remember my analogy a while back? If you remember on the one boundaries with spouse, I said it helps me tremendously when I do parental counseling, is to help a person see the distinction between a need and a treat. You remember that talk at all? A need and a treat. So if Elaine gives me cookies and puts it in my mouth, that sure is a treat. If Elaine bakes the cookies, that's a treat. Now, why is that a treat versus a need? Because whose job is it to make sure I have food in my belly? It's my job. It's not her job. So whatever she does, tonight she made tacos. Praise Jesus. That was a treat. It's not her responsibility. Well, okay. The second this is how you know that you've got all twisted. When you start treating someone else's treats like you think they're your needs to be met, you start resenting them the second they don't give it to you. That's it. Where are my cookies? Hey, woman, where are my tacos? She can say, hey, dude, wish you the best. The beef's over there, right? That's what we do to God. That's exactly what we do to God. It's a childish response to God that we all have when we don't get what we want. It's a way to try to punish God by not doing what we wanted. And it's, in psychological terms, you say is we're not respecting his boundaries. We're just not. And so those who abandon their faith in God, they almost always do so from a state of immaturity. Very few people are reasoned out of the Christian faith. There's better counter evidence for the resurrection of Jesus. I have never met a person who got out of Christianity because they found better evidence. Ever. I've heard so many talks from former Christians, and they are overwhelmingly ignorant and a lot of them incompetent. And they heard someone else who spoke very authoritative about what the real word in the Bible's been translated 400 times. And they go to this, and they read that one book, and all their faith was gone. No. First off, that's not why they. Anyway, I won't get. They all, in my experience, 99% of the time, it's just a state of immaturity. They got hurt. They felt abandoned. They withdraw that devotion and love because God didn't know what they wanted. They cut God off for making the villain because his wishes were not their wishes. And that's it, period. It's a very hurt. They do from a state of woundedness, not from a state of fully whole, healthy, reasoned, look at the evidence approach. I've never met a person who did it that way, ever. I've read books or portions of books from people who left the faith who said they do it for that reason. One guy in particular who's well known, he was a Christian for a long time. And in his opening to the book, he says the reason why I left the faith, in italics, is he was doing some sin. I think he was addicted to pornography or something. His community, he felt rejected at his church, and something else, another rejected, and he abandoned the church because he felt so hurt. And then that was it. And then he started reading books that oppose Christianity and then kind of acts like it's all this rational. That's not why he left the faith. He left it for emotional reasons. He was hurt. I have deep empathy for that. I love people, all people. But say those who struggle and want Christianity to make sense and they're wounded, man, I have deep and I get it. But it breaks my heart when I hear that because that's what's happening. What they're doing is treating God, they're like a little child, they're mad at daddy in their mind. He didn't do what they want. It's a way of saying they didn't respect his boundaries. If God said, no, I didn't heal your mom. No, I didn't save your marriage. No, the baby is going to die. Well, what kind of God? Blah, 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 blah. And they're out. Or usually it's a slow fade because that hurts so much they leave. I've met people, I've gone for a long time just as pastor. I mean, people take, a lot of times now as pastor, they treat me like a priest. They don't know the difference between a priest and a pastor because I'm not Catholic. Priests hear the confessions, right? Everyone else doesn't. And so anyway, that's one difference is, but the treatment like that at Walmart, doesn't matter where I'm at. Usually they'll start, yeah, I need to go to church a long time. Or I'll say, do you practice a particular religion? No. When I was a little kid, my mom died. I've had people say that. I go, I'm so sorry to hear that. And they go, yeah, like that's it. In other words, that's not because they found better evidence. It's because they're mad at God and because they don't respect his boundaries. And if you said, no, I won't save your mom or whatever it is, if you don't trust him, if you don't know him, then that's it. So I'm going to pause here because we're done with the part on God. And that one goes pretty quickly. But any question or comments about boundaries with God? Anything at all? Anything at all? Elaine, can you think of anything I need to cover? I think when I started thinking about God having boundaries, it made me think of God more as what we should, which is a personal being who wishes and wants things and certain things and not everything. Just like I'm a person and a being and I have certain wishes and desires, God's the same way. He's the same way. And the idea that God gives freely and only, he can only give freely, not because I do anything to make him do it. That's powerful. And that'll preach, and I do preach. It's amazing. We'll talk about this when we come to Christmas season. I think about that when Jesus was born. I think we talk about the gift for all people and so forth. I mean, that's just a gift. It's just a gift. A lot of us have not experienced that in relationships. A lot of us we're no people or siblings or parents or spouses, and they give things just with strings attached. There's always some ulterior motive. They're trying to get ahead or trying to get something, or you got to pay back later on. And a lot of us experience that in our relationships. To think God never does that. I think that's amazing. It's amazing. It's amazing. Page 17, we're wrapping up. When you start establishing boundaries, here's what's going to happen. Now, some of you have already started doing this, praise God, and hopefully you'll start telling some stories. Number one is you'll get angry when people don't like your boundaries. It will make you mad. That's the first warning sign, is that you are establishing healthy boundaries for yourself. When someone's trying to violate your boundaries, it's going to tick you off. And you pay close attention to that little bit of fire that's coming up. Like, man, why am I mad right now? What happened? Think about it. I bet the odds are pretty high. The odds are someone just trying to violate your boundaries. They didn't respect your no. Maybe they cut you off in traffic, or you said, hold on, or you're at the store. Maybe it's something real minor. Maybe it's some comment they made. Maybe it's something you say, I don't want to eat there. Come on, let's do it anyway. You go, like there's something makes you a little angry. That's good. That's healthy. That means you're growing up into boundary lovers. When your boundaries are violated, manipulated, controlled, you should feel anger. That's a good, healthy sign. And you'll find out those boundary buster people, first you'll get kind of mad, and it's good. And you'll start embracing that, and you'll go, I know. But then also, you will find yourself making quick decisions on the fly because you'll start getting really good, if this is new to you, you'll get real good at saying, that's what's going on. And you'll find yourself retracting emotionally. You won't be mean, hateful, hopefully, and unchristian. You'll be loving and joyful yourself. You just find yourself, okay, you're that kind of person. You're going to try to violate my boundaries over and over. So before you set your first boundary, ask yourself, do I have permission to feel angry when I'm controlled by others? Do you give yourself permission? Do you give yourself permission to feel mad when someone else is trying to control you? Am I aware when I'm being violated? Can I hear my early warning signal? Can you? Really? Yes or no? Yeah? Good. Have you given yourself permission to feel angry? Kind of, sort of? Yeah? Girls, what do you think? Give yourself permission ever? Ever thought about it? It's okay if you haven't thought about it. It's all right. I'm so glad you're here. This is healthy. This is what healthy looks like. Transformers. That's what healthy looks like. You need to give yourself permission to go, you know what? I'm serious about it. I give myself permission to start feeling angry if someone is trying to disrespect my no. If someone's trying to control me, manipulate me, guilt messages, oh my, mm-mm, mm-mm. Guilt messages, and we all know we hear them. You need to call them out as soon as you hear them. Nope. That sounds like a guilt message. No, I just think you need to so and so. I hear this what you think I need. Thank you. I heard you. All right, you just acknowledge it, but you don't. That stuff. Just tell the truth like it is. Just I'm getting mad. Even if to yourself on the inside, just like God does. God just tells the truth. Be honest. So that's the first thing. You know you're getting healthier when you start getting a little angry. Now, anger, of course, expression is healthy or not healthy. Throwing things across the room, cussing them out. That's not. I mean, you've lost control. You need good boundaries yourself. All I'm saying is, you start feeling violated on the inside. Someone's trying to beat down that wall. And if it works, it is whose fault? Huh? Yeah, it's your own fault. Yeah. Yeah, make that wall taller, sister. They can't jump over every wall. I guarantee they cannot jump. I guarantee they can't. Some walls are so stinking high, you're never going to see ya. See ya. That's up to you. Now, if you're really wounded, you've been hurt, your wall's real narrow, and everybody hurts your feelings, and everyone's offensive, and you're just, the word is, you're just fragile. You're just a fragile soul, and you're like a little fragile eggs, and everybody's look just hurts your feeling, everything, because you don't have good boundaries at all. And you're happy when everyone else is around you happy, and you're real sad when everybody's sad around you. And you want everyone's approval all the time. It's a very low self-esteem, very, very low walls in your boundaries. Healthy people are not like that. Healthy people have standard, normal, healthy boundary walls all the time. They're joyful. And I'll talk about that more in a second. I'll go there in a second. Number two, a good sign you're getting healthy is you're going to love other people who like boundaries. Oh, man, you'll like them a lot. You will find yourself attracted, not necessarily romantically, just attracted. Man, you get drawn to them. You love it when someone looks at you and lovingly, kindly says no, and you said no, and they go, oh, that sounds cool. When they make us feel safe, and we say no, not make us feel, but that's the expression, right? When I feel safe around oh my goodness. That means when they do what they can to help you feel safe by saying the word no, by respecting our limits, man, that's good stuff. We can give love freely that way, son. Ooh, that's good. You will like those people. You'll like it. Hey, I want to go to the mall. Sounds good. Hey, what do you need? Chick-fil-A? Not really. Okay, what do you want? How about Taco Bell? Sounds good. It worked. I said not really, and they didn't go, what? You should like Chick-fil-A is much healthier than you. And the problem is you don't know how to eat food. And if you were not like your mom and fat and ugly, you'd be, okay, I'll go. I get kind of mad. I didn't want to eat Chick-fil-A. And she made me there. Why do you say no? Because she'd have been so mad. You see, that's exactly what happens all the time. Is your fault for saying, I'll go. I don't want to ruffle the waters. All that nonsense we say. I don't want to rock the boat. All these expressions means you're insecure and you don't have good boundaries. You're not healthy. So when you're on a friend or any person who says, you go, no, thank you. I mean, kindly, right? No doesn't mean no and give them the bird. It just means, no, thank you. I don't want to. Sounds good. What would you like to do? Hey, you want to watch that movie? Nah. What about this one? Sounds good. Man, you will find yourself, you just feel safe to say that word. It's so good. Ooh. If you're weak at boundaries, hearing someone say no seems hateful or rude. It does to everybody who's weak at them. Oh, that sounds so mean. No is a bad word. It's a cuss word. But as you mature, those same people will be viewed as honest, caring, refreshing people. I don't love it when people disagree all the time with me. But what I like about them and what I reframe it as, I like the fact that they have a self and they're saying, no, I think I like it a different way. I, as a human being, like when people say those things gently, as they say in the New Testament, right? Just to speak gently. But the fact they have a self and see it differently, I like that. It feels safer around them. And I like it when they respect me for having a self and having a different view. So you can still be kind and loving, but if you're not mature and healthy yet, you'll hear the word no or no thank you or I don't like that or I don't prefer that. Those sound like bad words because now we just disagree and I'm responsible and disagreement is bad, right? Because I got to make sure you feel good all the time and that's unhealthy. Unhealthy, right? It's not my horse. But you'll get angry when they violate yours and you're going to find yourself wanting to hang out with boundary lovers. You'll find yourself, you'll like it and you'll be one. 3, you'll need to join a safe group. If you're really new to boundaries, you need to find a good little safe group. Sometimes, literally, we do small groups. I've done, therapy groups, people just to help them. But you do need other people. You need other ones. You need help. They can practice with you. They can, it's just it's good. It's just a good way to do it. You find even one other person. If we don't have, like right here at this church so far, we don't have a support group for boundaryless people. We could do that if we needed it. A true Christian community can only be formed within this kind of family: safe, honest, mature, respectful, giving love freely, and so forth. Imagine an environment where everyone respected everyone's no, and they still loved each other. They gave freely. They spoke gently and kindly and respectfully to each other. They go, that's fine. You don't like that? That's fine. Good. What would you like? I must say here, of all the leadership, of all the lay leadership places I've ever served, the lay leadership, this is the best I've ever served at lay leadership. Because we absolutely can disagree, and they do it in a completely loving way. Now, I'm mean, but they're very, very sweet. I'm kidding. I'm not. But I mean it. So they say, no, I don't. What do you think about that? Do you think it's a good idea? No, not really. Here's why. Okay, what do you think? I don't know. Maybe you're able to say the words no in kind ways, and the relationship's not at stake. No one's mad. It's great. I mean, I'm telling you. When you've been in toxic, horrible hell, you experience like fresh water to drink. It's like this. And some of you might need just at least one person to help practice this baby. I told you before, my best guy friend, Jeff, he's a little better at boundaries. He's better at boundaries. I think you'd say that. He used to not be at all. And I used to deliberately, because he was so introverted, he doesn't like doing anything in public, ever. And then I would say, hey, Jeff, when I was pastor of the church at the time, I said, hey, will you pray this Sunday at church? And you go, man, let me think about it. And no, Jeff, I need to know right now. What do you think? You want to pray Sunday? Now, I know he's not going to do it, and I really want to do it anyway. But I want to hear the word, and he knows I want to say the word. I said, are you trying to tell me something, Jeff? I don't know, David. I don't know, David. And of course, we laugh. I go, are you trying to say no? I guess. Say it, Jeff. Say the words. That's safe. That's a test. And I'm being a little ornery, but it's also a test. That's what friends do. We ornery. Because he's safe. It's okay to say no to me. It's not going to hurt my feelings. I have to say it all the time with people at church. All the time. I learned that years ago. I have to start every single conversation, every single request I ever give. It's okay to say no to me. Our relationship is not at stake. I will not get angry. I will not hold a grudge. Here's what I'm thinking. What do you think? Can you do it or not? And if there's slight, they go, well, so no? No? That's it. Help him. No? Is it no? It's okay if it's no. Just tell me now. I'm safe. And then they see, I did say no. Yeah, David didn't act like a weirdo afterward. He's just a consistent weirdo. Number 4, you'll better understand what you value and defend it better. It's true. When you get around healthy people, it helps you redefine what you value. You get to understand, I do value that. I value honesty. Honesty makes me angry when someone lies to me. I feel like I've been violated. And the more than know what you really value, you'll protect it, man. You're going to work hard to protect it. I found out in my life, my old age, no, I was younger, I value my time a lot. And so I don't want to waste it. So like, hey, let's hang out at 2:00. Dude shows up at 3. I don't like that. I made plans to be available at 2. Now I'm not talking about like 2:01, I'm ticked, but this is ridiculous. So I work hard to make sure. So if I know a person that kind of chronically late, because that's all, we talked about this earlier, that's a boundary problem. Well, then I will address it. Dude, I love you, brother. But if you, let me know, does it help you to say, let's meet at 1:45? Because you're consistently 10 minutes late. Well, tell me, because I don't want to, or the movie. We'll drive separately, that's fine, but I don't want to be late to the movies. And I don't like being, if they're ever open the movie theater again, I don't like being late to movies. Will, you'll not know. I'm not ornery about it. I'm just saying in general, I want to show up basically on time. But that's my point. You go on examples of values that you'll understand more and more. And a lot of times, look, you have to work backwards. Sometimes Zane's going to go, oh, I'm mad. He might go, I'm mad. What are you mad about? Oh, I don't know. Well, think about it. Think about it for a second. What made you angry? Did you have a conversation with someone? Did something happen on the way home? When did you start feeling angry? Yeah, around lunchtime. What happened at lunch? You work backwards, sometimes realize that is what happened. Well, he did blah, blah, and I didn't want to do that, and he's still trying to make me do it. That's it. It's a boundary violation. You felt angry because someone was trying to violate your boundaries because you value X, Y, Z, right? Sometimes you have to work backwards into it. Once you're angry, figure out what was just violated. That's your value. That's your pearl. That's your treasure. Does that make sense? Sometimes you don't have to go backwards. You just say, here's what I value. I know what it is. You'll know. You'll know what it is. But it's cool because you like to defend it better. Nah, don't do that. Don't do it. 5, practice your baby nose. You got to practice them. Just practice your baby nose. Baby steps are key. You practice them to other people who love you when you're no. Don't give up when the other person fights against your no. Remember, if they are immature, they will react in some form of anger, physical or verbal. They're going to. You can't give in. They will fight. If they are a baby immature person, no matter how old they are, and they fight against your no by trying to guilt you, manipulate you, yell at you, fuss at you, cut you off, call you names, all these things little children do when they don't get their way, and they do it to you, it doesn't mean you're wrong. It means they're unhealthy. And in that situation, you're the same one. In that situation, the little baby didn't get their way. You can't give in. You can't give in. And if you're not ready to have a conversation with Michael Jordan of Boundary Busters in your home, don't do that first. Practice baby nose first. Would you like fries with that? Right? Just practice no. No, I don't want boundary. I don't want fries with that. What if it hurts their feelings? Not gonna hurt. I'm not responsible for the feelings, right? You practice baby. So by the time you can have those conversations with a person you know is going to be very upset, you know it's coming. Just know it's coming. Prepare for the boundary buster to be mad at your no matter how kind you say it. Thank you so much for the invitation, but I can't do it this year. Well, why not? Now, in your response there, it sounds like you're angry or upset. Are you angry or upset? Well, I thought we were going to do it. Oh, I'm sorry you're upset. Well, you going to do it or not? Oh, no, I already told you no. Why not? Sorry you're upset. It feels like you're really angry. Well, tell me more what's going on. You see, I'm not giving in. I'm expecting them to get angry and upset. And every time they do it, it reminds me that I'm healthy and they're not. Which means someone's got to be healthy in the conversation if you're ever going to get out of that sick dance. And I'll do more role playing here in just a second. But don't give up. You got to practice the baby steps. You celebrate them when you do it. I said no to fries today. And then you celebrate with that friend. Yeah, high five. Good for you. I did that. My friend Jeff said no about saying no to prayer. Good job, Jeff. I said, good job, Jeff. High five. Well, it's not no. It is a big deal. It is. And even when that person fights against that no, you can't give up. Don't do it. And every single time you have a boundary done well, every single time, understand that it's a good job. You got to celebrate it. Celebrate. I had a boundary today. I said the word no thank you, or I stood up for myself when someone tried to violate my boundaries, or I talked about it. I really feel like you're trying to manipulate me. I really feel like you're trying to make me feel guilty. Is that what's going on here? Man, nip it in the bud. David, I could never do that. Yes, you could. Mm-hmm. So let's practice. First off, any questions about that? Any comments, questions? Okay, and the time we have left, unless you just sit there in total silence, then we'll just stop it. But this is actually, it's usually, hundreds of people in the class. We have plenty of data. If you think of a person in your life, and you have given you names you don't want to, right? Just a person in your life who you think of right now would fight against your no, or they've had a history of you of boundary busting. If you've had a difficult time with them, if you want, I would love to role play with you. What I would do is you be that person, and I'll be you on your best boundary day. You did it this week. Spectacular. Via text message. I got him to listen to me. And you refused to talk on the phone. He wanted to talk on the phone. I'm repeating it for the camera. You wanted to talk on the phone, but you refused. Good. You said no. Took 20 minutes to get there. Wow. Good for you for saying no. Now, what took 20 minutes to say no? To get him to understand. So, because he sought to understand it, or because you kept trying to get him to understand? Okay.
He wanted to talk. He would not give. I just needed a simple yes or no answer, and he wanted me to talk to him on the phone to get there.
Right. He wanted to talk to you to figure out why. He wouldn't accept a text message. So he was disrespecting your no, or saying, nope, I'm not going to receive that no. I'm going to find out why. You're going to call him now. Now, and that's good. Now, good. So the next level would be is when someone doesn't understand something, what's your moral responsibility in that moment? Yeah, to walk. It's not your job to make sure they understand ever. Good. I'm glad you tried. I'm saying that encouragement for all of us. Keep going. First, it's never your moral responsibility to make sure they understand. Well, David, what about I never explain myself to anyone ever? Well, the answer is no, you don't have to ever. But for people who love us and we love them and they're kind, normal, basic people, sure, I give an explanation. Imagine for a second Will like me. And Will said, Dave, let's go to the movies. And then I say, man, I can't do that. And he goes, why not? I don't owe you an explanation, Will. Well, I could say that. And if he were my friend at all, he'd go, you're right. Okay. See you, man. Have a good night. But I wouldn't say that. I'd say, man, I just don't like you anymore. I would give him some reason. Washing my hair. I would tell him. But normal people, that's fine. I still don't need to do it. But I'm doing it just because I want to. It's a loving act. Yeah. Why? And I said this, but to keep repeating this is so important for all of us. We all know those people who will keep trying to push back that no. And well, why? Well, why? And you can do what you want. In my view, I'm always 2 no's in before I drop no more explanation. Because those people, you'll know them real quickly. Now, especially the man of whom you're speaking, I know who you're talking about enough from your perspective to know you already know him well enough. Well, let's imagine those are clear as day examples. What about people, someone at Walmart or whatever, and well, why blah blah? And you give an explanation. You're just being kind. You don't need to, right? Because I don't owe you an explanation. Like I'm talking about children. I don't know. Unless you're the Lord Jesus, I don't owe my spouse. I don't owe you any explanation. But I'll do the first time. Well, second time, well, why blah blah blah? Now I'm dealing with a boundary buster. The second time they come at me, I know I'm not dealing with a normal, healthy person, and I don't give them the time. After that, then I say, because I don't want to. Well, why blah, blah, blah? I don't understand. I believe you. Anything else? You said, I believe you. So good for you. Good for you. I mean, we all know those people. Maybe not. Maybe the little ones don't yet. But adults have met people like that who, well, and that whenever they do that, they're like little children working up, and it's a way to try to control you. Whatever you tell me, some are really good at that. Anything you give them is like ammunition or data to manipulate right back on you. And so the only way to stop that is to not give them any else. So good for you for saying the word no, and good. So is there any examples you can think of now that I can role play with you? Anything at all? Anybody?
What about friends that try to push their convictions on to you to be your convictions as well?
Okay.
Or like what they believe about something, try to push that on you. You don't believe it, then well, you just don't know what to talk about.
So what about friends who try to push their views on you, and if you don't have their views, then you don't know what you're talking about? Yeah. So then let's play that for a second. Okay, I'll be you, and you be whomever this person is.
Oh, I have to come up with a scenario.
Well, Zane can help if you need to. Whatever.
Take political. It'll go real fun.
Oh, well, there has been that.
Okay.
Okay, let's just go real simple one. I think we're gonna go ride those go-karts, girl. Oh my goodness. You don't agree with that.
Okay, so I think I'm gonna ride go-karts, girls. You're saying. So the other person says, "Let's go ride them," and I don't agree with that.
Right. Or you want me to be that person? I don't know.
No, I'm you.
Okay.
You're the pushy person.
I'm the pushy person. Okay, so your idea is to go ride go-karts.
My idea. Okay, so I'm you. Hey, girls, let's go ride go-karts. You want to go do that?
Oh my goodness, that is so dangerous. I don't think that is a good idea.
It's so dangerous, not a good idea. Oh, okay. Well, your kids don't have to go.
That's right, they're not gonna go.
Well, good.
Well, is that good boundaries on their part too? I mean, staying up for them and what they believe.
Is it good boundaries? I guess so that we're done. So period. Is it good boundaries on their part? No, it's not. Whenever we try to, whenever we try to make someone change their behavior, whenever that happens, like I've said before, whenever the verb is in the imperatival mood, shouldn't, stop, don't, we're a critical parent, speaking down to a person as a child. So when someone says, as we all know this, when someone says, I would never do that because that's so dangerous, what they're not, in that moment, what they're not doing is stating how something is dangerous. What they're doing is really doing, what are they trying to do? Well, they're giving a different message, an ulterior message. The first message is, I think that's dangerous. What they're trying to do is condemn your behavior and your beliefs about the go-karts or whatever it is, right? So that you'll stop. Don't do that. But it's a kinder way of telling you what to do. The people who are not so kind will look at you and go, don't do that. That's very dangerous. They add the extra, don't do that. But normal people, normal polite companies don't do that. They don't go that far, but they're still trying to tell you what to do. That's bad boundaries. God didn't put them on this planet to make sure that you do what they, because they're not your parent-child. They're not literally a parent-child. It's not the appropriate thing to do. From their perspective, they might say, yeah, but it is dangerous, and I'm trying to save them and help them. Then I would say, so if that's really what you're trying to do, your motivations are pure. That's good. That's good. Fine. So now we just disagree on, might say, the science. Are they dangerous enough to warrant not doing it right now? We disagree. If you're trying to convince me otherwise, you have the right, and I have a self, you have absolutely all the right to have an opinion about that. I have a right to have an opinion too. So at the end of this, we just simply disagree, then we simply disagree. If you cannot simply disagree, your next step is to probably call the police to make sure they come and make sure I don't do it, right? You're going to up the ante to another authority source because your persuasion didn't work. Now I need to be stopped by an authority above me. So if someone says, I think shooting this gun in my head is not going to hurt me at all. I think it will. I think it's very dangerous. I wouldn't do that. Well, that's your opinion. It is my opinion. It's based on fact. 100% of the time when someone gets shot in the head, it's bad. They don't all die, but it's going to be very dangerous. You probably die. I wouldn't do that at all. Now, I don't know we disagree. Well, we disagree on the facts. We do. Are you going to stop putting the gun in your head? No. I'm calling the police. We'll see if they disagree with me. And if they disagree with me and I was wrong this whole time, hey, well, I say I learned something. I learned tonight that shooting yourself in the head was not that big a deal anyway. But I bet I'm not wrong. Right, that's appropriate. I am trying to stop the behavior. I'm being a critical parent, telling them to don't do it because I'm convinced for the right reasons. So, Dave, you're violating their boundaries. Now, I'm trying to persuade them of something I'm convinced is right. But so in that sense, there you go. That's exactly what they can do. But my analogy, I think, works perfectly, which is the person with the gun can still say, I still am going to do it. You can try to persuade me, and my answer is no. Please show up. I can still say, no, I'll do what I want. The answer is, that's right. They can do what they want. And my attempt to persuade is, no matter how good it is I'm still trying to get you to change your mind. I am. And those instances, it's easier, it seems to me, to be empathetic to people who are trying to change their mind. They're convinced that I'm in danger. It helps me reframe and say, I think if I'm given the benefit of the doubt, they think they're helping me. They think they're helping me by telling me what to do. And we just disagree on, I guess, the conclusion, or we disagree on what's at risk here. But after, again, the second time or so, I'm saying, no, I'm going to ride the go-karts or whatever. I'm riding. Well, you shouldn't. Okay, we do disagree. Yeah, we just disagree. What was the other one? Homeschooling, was that one? Okay, well, give me an example. Okay. Pressure to do it. Okay. Okay, propaganda. All right. So I'm you. So both of y'all can do it together. So I'm y'all, and the person's giving it to me. Give it to me.
Just all the benefits of homeschooling and it's the difference. I don't know how to. I'm not good at role playing, but
it's okay. So they're giving all the benefits of homeschooling. They're
you don't have to follow anybody's schedule. Your time is, you can by noon we're done, and
right. All right. So no one's schedule. It's up to you. Power's in your hand.
At school, you don't know what your kids are doing.
Yeah, that's right.
They get so exposed.
They're exposed to all them centers. You're right. Right. And people do that with health stuff, the health shake, this or that. whatever they're convinced it's good for them. And so that's right. So in that sense, if a person is just telling you what they think about something, there's nothing at all violating a boundary. You're having a conversation about, um, that's just no different from saying, I found it the other day that's really good to eat vegetables. I mean, or eat more protein than there's sugar. That's true. That's good. Yeah, that's great. Well, man, it's so good. Or this Gatorade stuff, it really made me feel replenished. You ought to try it. Homeschooling's the same kind of, for a lot of people, same thing. You really ought to try it. You really, because it's working out so well for us. I care about you. I want you to try something that works out well for you too. Maybe it will. So, I mean, on the benefit of the doubt, they're being kind because they're trying to see something good for you. It's something trying to serve you. Did you know that it was so positive for your family and that studies have demonstrated? Great. Thank you so much. Thank you for all this data. That's wonderful. Thank you so much. That's good. But they start violating your boundaries when you say, no, thank you. I don't want to hear about it anymore. You need to listen. You need to listen to me because you don't understand the benefit. Your kids around sinners, they're going to turn out like a bunch of crazy libs and they're going to, okay, thank you, but I've already said no. That's not what I want to do. Well, why not? And as soon as I look at me and going this nature, I've already told them my boundaries are getting, does this sound familiar at all to you? This kind of, so if you ever say no, thank you. Yeah. Oh, you haven't said no yet. Okay. Well, until you say no, they're going to see, maybe thinking, well, I'm going to keep trying to persuade them because, in benefit of the doubt, it means they think that what they're trying to persuade you to do is good for you and good for your family. And they might care about you and love you and say, we really think it's the best for you. A lot of times when I've heard that particular topic happen or different topics like it, it's not so much that they're just trying to help you as it is they feel various emotions and have various beliefs about homeschooling and parenting and being a good mom that they then transfer to you. So if you say no to it and I'm still doing it, am I doing something wrong? Have I missed something? I must be a bad mom or dad. I'm missing something. And so the more I really get you, if I can get you into it, then I start feeling better about what I'm doing. And all kinds of things like that can motivate a person to keep trying over and over and over again. They can, but as soon as you say no, thank you, and we still keep trying to persuade you, then you have every right. I mean, what I do, if they keep trying, I raise my hand up, just a gentle no, thank you. I appreciate your willingness. What I receive as you're caring for me and my children, man, that's very sweet. I mean, I appreciate that. I really do. But we've decided not to do that. But thank you, though. Well, you just need to. Now it feels to me like you're trying to violate my boundaries. I mean, I use that vocabulary, like you're still trying to persuade me. Can you help me understand why it's so important to you that I do this? Why is that? Because I've already said no, thank you, and you're still going at what's going on? And I go more. That's the counseling role, which is you seem anxious, you seem something. So tell me what is it about you that's trying so hard to get me to do this? They might just say, because it just changed my life. I mean, I've met people like that. Changed my life. All of a sudden, my quality time, my kids, and good. Oh, praise. And if it's just pure motives, like they're just thinking of the joy. I mean, it's anything as Christianity. People go on and on and on about their pagan neighbor, their Jewish aunt, or their atheist cousin, or whatever. You got to know Jesus every time they see him. I don't want to do that. I don't want to hear the gospel anymore. There people do that. I don't want to hear it. But oh my goodness, he changed my life. He did change your life. But you're coming across as the nag, the manipulative nag. Are you not scared of hell? Are you not? That's just manipulation. That's just guilt messages. And guilt message is not the gospel. I never found anywhere in the New Testament where the apostles walk around talking about, are you not scared of hell? It never happens that way. And so there are times I respect people's no. I pray for them. I respect them. But if someone keeps going after over and over, and they ask me, why do you do that? You see, the motivations can be pure. So I ask the person. That's if they are pure. If they're not pure, if it's more like, well, I just really want to get my kids out of that. You go, oh, so you wanted to get see, now it's talking about them. And that's part of that pressure. Well, I'm glad you did it for you then. Then you got what you needed, right? I mean, aren't you happy about that? Well, yeah, but there's no but. I mean, good for you. Good for you. I'm glad you rescued them from that liberal school or whatever. I mean, I've heard this, that's good, but it's not what I want to do. Sure.
It's just pressures we felt from different
Sure.
people.
Yeah.
That's a boundary. I've never said stop talking about it, but you know.
And you can if you want to. You can say, stop talking about it if you want to. Now, the thing about, I mean, technically speaking, the best way to say it is not stop talking about it because you become a critical parent to a child, right? We never want to turn to the parent. Instead, what we can say is, no, thank you. I'm not interested in that conversation anymore. Or no, thank you. I won't keep talking about it. You can if you want, but I won't. Our minds are made up. Thank you, though. That's what boundaries state what you value and what you're going to do. The second you try to tell anybody else what to do or make them make them understand, make them get it, make them say yes, as soon as you do that, you're bad boundaries. So instead, good boundaries is, here's what I'm going to do. No, I'm not discussing it. Oh, no, thank you. I don't want to talk about that anymore. Which is different. You see, that's very different from, you need to stop bothering me. Nah, now you turn to a parent, you're trying to violate their boundaries. They're not your child. And that's what we want to do when we're defensive, right? We want to just leave me alone. That's critical parent. Healthy people go, put their hands in their pocket. No, thank you. Yeah, we've thought about homeschooling, but we don't want to. Well, I think you ought to consider it. Thanks. Anything else? Or you just change it? That's a good example. It's a good example. So I'm trying to say in such a way that you're honoring their benefit of the doubt, that they're meaning something well, but nevertheless, it's okay to say, no, thank you, I don't want to talk about it. Sorry. Was it Zane or Will?
Yeah, I got one.
Please.
So, I guess the scenario would be, you have a engagement, you're going, but it's not critical. So you're going to work out. You have plans this Saturday, you're going to go work out.
Okay.
And I helped you remodel your bathroom. And I'm remodeling my bathroom this weekend. So it's, hey, David, I'm remodeling my bathroom this weekend. Can you help me remodel my bathroom? And your response would probably be, no, sorry, I'm going weightlifting or going to the gym or whatever. So my scenario would be, but I helped you remodel your bathroom. Like, you owe me, man. Like, help me out, guy. Like, what are you doing?
Okay. So a person helped me remodel a bathroom, and he wants help remodel the bathroom, and I'm you in this situation. So I'm going to the gym on Saturday at 2, and he wants remodeling at 2. And I go, oh man, I can't. Well, first off, in that example, I might remove my gym schedule. But let's say it's something else I can't move. Maybe I commitment with my wife or something. So in that example, I might say, sure, I can move my gym. I can move around to try to help if I want to help.
Yeah.
If I can't, because if something comes up, because I may have said this, this can go on for 30 weeks, but we always have time to do that. Every time someone says, I didn't have the time, they're lying. What they should say is, I didn't want to do it. We always do what we really want to do, period. In parentheses, except when we're an invalid, we're stuck in a hospital bed. In normal routines of life, we always do what we want to do, period. And if I wanted to do it, I would have done it. So it's not because I'm busy. I want to hang out. That's not why you haven't hung out. You haven't hung out because you don't want to. What you want to do is work. What you want to do is hang out with someone else. Or what you want to do is sleep. What you want to do is eat. What you want to do is go to Illinois. The point is, anything else trumped you. You're down on the list. So if you're really gut level honest, tell the person, I kind of wanted to, but not that much. I had 7 other things I want to do more than hang out with you. That's why I didn't do it. It's not because you didn't have time. You didn't want to do it, period. But people don't want to say that because that just sounds so mean. It's not mean at all to say, no, thank you, I don't really want to. So if you don't really want to, you say those words. You say, man, no, thank you, I really don't want to do that. If that's what the case. First I can just say, no, thank you, or no, I can't, right? You can add, I don't want to if you want. That's your explanation. You don't owe an explanation. So if the person says, but I helped you, and you go, and first off, I am so glad you helped me. Remember that time I thanked you so many times? I took you out to dinner. I'm so thankful for that. But now that you say that, it makes it sound as if you did it so that I would do something for you. Is that why you did it? Just call it right then and there. And they go, well, yeah, I thought you'd, oh man, I didn't know that at all. Wow. Seriously, had I known that, I would have never accepted your help. I don't ever accept help when people want to scratch back or strings attached. I never do that. And so I wish you'd have told me that beforehand, because that might have saved you, I don't know, maybe this state now that you're in, because I would never accept help if you wanted something in return. When I give things, I only give it freely. I don't do anything with expect anything back. I didn't know that about you. That's good to know.
It's pretty savage. In a good way. I'm just saying, like,
It
most
is.
people,
That's exactly the way.
I could imagine saying that.
That's right. That's as real. But I'm kind. I've not said anything mean or unchristian.
Yeah.
It's very important. I've said nothing mean, unloving. I've said I didn't know that was a fact of the universe. Yeah. That in you was the belief that I do things to have people do it for me in return. I didn't know you didn't like spiders. I didn't know you liked pizza. I didn't know you did things to get strings back attached. I didn't know. Man, I wish I'd have known you not like pizza. I would invite you out to a pizza place. Man, I wish you'd known you give stuff to give in return. I would never ask for your help. It's just, you have just enlightened me. That's not mean.
Yeah.
That's not mean at all. It's a very loving thing. I said it kindly. I didn't judge them. I didn't condemn them. I didn't say, you should never have done that. I would never treat people that way if I were you. No, I'm not their parent. I'm not the Lord Jesus. It's my going, I had no idea. Man, had I known that, whew. That's it.
Yeah.
There's nothing else. I mean, that's the answer. Well, it's not just because of that. I just thought, I mean, that's what people do, man. Nice people. They just, if you help them, they help you back. And you go, oh, okay. So you think if someone's nice, they have to pay back when you do it. That's what I hear you saying. Make sure you understand. Well, yeah. I mean, normal, healthy people, man, they want to help people because they help them. I go, oh, okay. Gotcha. I understand. That's it. Because all they're doing is stating what they believe.
Yeah.
That's it. And you've heard them. So I hear you saying that when someone's nice, they do that. Yeah. Gotcha. I understand. I understand what you believe. That's it. There's nothing else to say or do. You said no. That's no different from them saying, I think pepperoni's the best pizza in the world. So you think pepperoni's the best pizza in the world? Yeah, I do. Huh. What's your favorite color? We're just giving me all the list of things you believe. That's it. Nothing you say is about to change my response, which is, no, I'm not helping you with the room. Nothing. I'm sorry you're angry. I'm sorry you're upset. I'm sorry you're sad. I really am. I am sorry about that. I hope and pray for that you're able to process that. I am. I had no idea. Obviously, like I've already said, had I known that you did things to get things in return, I would never have done it and put you in this scenario. I'd never have known that. Because I'm not that way, and it didn't occur to me. It didn't occur to me to ask. We're just different. That's all. So, I'm sorry for that misunderstanding. So let's say, for example, you said no. Let's say you can't do it at that time, and that's maybe more likely. You say, well, oh yeah, well, I can help you. I can't do it Saturday, but is there another time you can help? And the person says, no. I mean, I helped you. You did. Now we're back to that topic again, which is, no, wait, when you said it like that, it kind of sounded like you did it for, and I would exactly straight down that path. That's me though. See, that's a lesson to be learned. That's a belief I want to know about people if they're serving me. Is that why you did it? Because I will never have time out on that. I will never ask you again. So I would go down that path. If he said, no, man, I just got to have it done soon. I go, man, I'm so sorry. I really wish I could help you. I would help you. I've got these commitments I have committed to that I value keeping my commitments outside of emergencies. That's an integrity issue for me, and I'm going to hold that first. If we're in danger or a real scenario where I have to cancel, like you're a victim, then I'll cancel plans. But you're not a victim; you just need help. And I'm sorry. I wish I could help you, but I can't on Saturday. If you can wait till the next Saturday, wait till Tuesday. I can help you, but I can't Saturday. So I've given an explanation. I've claimed back to boundaries. I'm articulating what I value, even for my own strengthening. I value integrity. I value keeping my commitment as much as I can outside of emergencies, and it helps me even be more emboldened. That is what I value, and I want to protect it. More than I value his feelings being hurt because I didn't help him. I'm not responsible for your feelings. And if that person was healthy at all, they would go, oh man, bummer. Okay, no problem, thanks. That's exactly what they would do. Because they respect no. They know there's things that come up. Well, what are you doing on Saturday? My radar. Ding, 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 ding. We got a boundary buster. I've got some commitments I've made. Well, I mean, what? You keep asking me a lot. It feels like you're trying to get me to change my mind. Is that what you're trying to do? See, I'm not going. I know. See how the path you want me to go on? I'm not. Ding, we froze because that's exactly what's trying to happen. No, I'm just saying. I mean, why can't you get out of it? I can't. I make commitments. I'm just. They don't throw that ball at you. Just drops. Boom. How about that? Well, good. Does that help at all on that kind of scenario?
Yeah.
When you call out that dynamic, it's going to help you feel empowered. It will. You say kindly, lovingly. You don't fuss. You don't judge. Ask clarifying questions. Is that why you did it? Help me understand more of your motivation. I mean, really, ask more. Get clarifying questions on there. And when you leave the conversation and they're still mad, think about it for a second. What are they mad at? Did you call them a name? Did you cuss them out? Did you judge them? What are they mad at? They're mad that you didn't do what they wanted. Oh, okay. I can deal with that all day long. That's what children do. That's what we all do. All right? We get mad. You parked my parking spot. We're just mad little babies. And then we get over it. That's all that's happening. It was Cloud or Townsend. I love they said this years ago, for me at least, and it clicked. They said, you always want to make the right people mad. That's exactly right. That's exactly right. That set me free in some areas of my life. You always want to make unhealthy people angry. Not want, but you want to because you're doing a healthy thing. It makes me happy when unhealthy, sick people are mad at me. I go, oh, because I can spot unhealthy. Now, my radar is pretty clear. But healthy people get mad at me. I perk up a lot and go, what did I do? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
But little babies get, oh, you're just mad because you didn't get your way. And I've dealt with a lot in church too. A lot of people like that. A lot. Because when it comes down to it, it wasn't theology, it wasn't Bible, it wasn't Jesus. 100% of the time, it's they didn't get what they wanted. Oh, these changes, and he did, and the way he looked at me in the sermon, it was just I didn't get what I wanted. They leave the church. Well, I don't want them to leave, but I'm going, okay, that's the right person to make upset because that's not healthy. It's the normal, healthier people that come to me and say, David, I've noticed you keep cussing people out or something. Let's talk. Well, I don't do that. That's a joke. Anyway, my point is that's when I listen to those people. People I think are healthy. And you might have siblings. I'll stop. What other examples? Any other examples you can think of? If they want you to drink, want you to eat, want you to go to this place, yeah, kind of peer pressure. I did that when I was a kid. I shouldn't have. It was bad boundaries. I did it. Yeah. Well, I stopped, but I did a lot in youth, and it worked. It worked, and in college, it worked. And a lot of times it was for fun. Like you want to go hang out. It wasn't, hey man, will you take this package? Don't ask questions. Go take it to Zane. He'll give you some water. Don't worry about the cash. I didn't do that kind of stuff. That's not different Zanes. Totally different. Totally different. But yeah, no, I did. I shouldn't have done it. It was boundary. I did it, and I feel badly about that. I've told people that I've seen from high school at times. I've told people sometimes how, yeah, I shouldn't have. I mean, I have, I guess. Yeah, but yeah, I don't know. Yeah, peer pressure.
Just want to say a little bit more about that, but that's something I had to practice because not growing up, not having really permission to say no. I mean, we're taught as kids.
Yeah.
A lot of kids were taught. They're not so much now, but like your parents say do it, you do it. And I think it's a little bit of a different scenario, but for example, I'm tonight. I said, hey Julie, you want to help me bake this pie? She goes, no. And I'm kind of like, whoa. But I asked her, do you want to help? And she said no. She told me the truth. Now, had I said I need you to help, and she said no, that might be a different conversation. But it can be off-putting a little bit when you tell your kids that. But at the same time, I want them to be able to have a safe place where they can say no to certain things. Just like I don't feel like doing laundry right now. I'm not going to do it. But I'll do it later. But I don't know. So practicing that at home is important.
Yeah, here. So two different things. One is practicing baby no's, and the other is allowing our children to say no to us. That's right, baby no's. You can think, what are some areas in your life about the baby no's? You can think of areas where you could start practicing no more often. Really, where are some areas or an area or anything that you could practice saying no, or no thank you, or I don't want there, I don't like that, or let's not do that? Anywhere? Work, school, home, gym, Walmart, anywhere? Seriously. How to say no to yourself. Wonderful, wonderful idea. Yeah, that's called self-control in the Bible. That's what self-control is. That's exactly right. Saying no to yourself. No, I won't eat more chocolate. No, I won't buy those donuts. I ask myself no all the time to go to the grocery store, pass them by the bakery. I mean, I will say it in my mind. No, keep turning, keep none to see here. That's a real no. That's a
one of the things I told you about, and as a healer type, you want, when you talk about minor fears, you want not camaraderie, but people to get along.
Unity, yeah. Uh-huh.
So the disagreement, like having that conversation, well, you help me, I'll help you. You kind of like, I don't want to have that conversation. I just don't like it. But something little that I started practicing on, I realized, and I mentioned this before, but I realized when I talk to people, if they were talking, I might not agree with what they're saying, but I was shaking my head, yeah. I hear you, but I'm thinking, I don't agree with that. And I might be saying, for example, homeschool's the best thing ever. And I'm shaking my head, yeah. I'm thinking, no, I'm an educator. That's not my opinion. I have a very different thought process. And we can talk about it, but I mean, I'm just throwing that in the table. But the point is, I don't have to even non-verbal. So practicing even just to keep my head still. Not nodding was a big deal for me. And so that was a way to participate in that.
Yeah, and I encouraged Elaine a long time ago about that. Helping her practice was, stop shaking your head yes, just to get people to agree to you. That's right. I don't agree. Well, then why are you shaking your head? I want them to feel like I'm agreeing with it. I want everybody to feel happy and warm and cozy. That's a boundary problem.
So a lot of times too, when you're in leadership positions, which I've been in and a lot of you are, people will come to you and they'll tell you the way you should do something. And a lot of times it's easier to just agree with them and let it go. Say, oh yeah, well, so what I did, instead of saying yes or whatever, I started saying, well, thanks for your input. Or I started kind of practicing different kinds of responses.
Yeah.
It didn't have to be that I agree with it, or even like I'll get back with you because that put more pressure on me. It was more of a boundary of like, thanks for that. Or if I wanted to think about it more, I'll consider that, or I'll talk to the right people, but not, oh yeah, I'll get back to you, putting more on me. I put it more on. Okay.
If a person, in leadership, if someone comes to you in leadership, it happens in leadership, certainly in churches. If someone's coming to you giving ideas, that's great. But there are people who give ideas because they're being a critical parent. And usually you can tell very quickly by tone of voice, by posturing, by the way they say it. It's not an idea. It's you need to, you ought to. As soon as they say the word need, ought, should, they're coming at me critical parent, which I immediately don't like because of my boundary. I'm not your child. And you're trying to talk to me like a child. If someone is extra bossy, I have found this works really, really well because it makes the right people mad. As you say these simple words, thank you so much for your opinion. That's it. Because they don't want to, critical parents who are in that script, that is in general in life, they're just critical parents, they do not ever see their view as an opinion, but God's honest gospel truth. And they don't see them, they're not the same. And so I said, what you need to do is blank. Well, thank you for your opinion. I don't like that at all. But that's a way of saying demarcating right away. I heard it, I received it, and I'm categorizing exactly what that is, and they're not going to like that. Well, no, I just found that it works. Good, thank you. Good, cool. So back to you were saying internal no's. Anything else you want to say more about that? Practicing baby no's on the inside? Did you have anything more there? Before Elaine rudely interrupted you?
Okay, so at work, I had a customer ask me if we did grooming on Saturdays. And I automatically know the answer is no. But I still had to be like, I have to ask my boss. Because at the split second, I could not bring myself to actually say the word no. And then when I turned around and I told my boss that, then she got upset with me because now it's on her that she had to like, this is the stuff I deal with on a daily basis.
Now, there are two boundary boundaries. That's such a great example. That's a great example. It is right. Are y'all open on Saturdays? The answer is no, but I'm afraid to even say the words no, so I ask someone else, hey, are we open? Then they're mad at me. That's a great example of something you know the answer to right away, and you still feel compelled to preserve their feelings. What a wonderful practicing baby knows for you. That's a great opportunity. Like a pacifier. That is such a great example. That's a great, and look, that's a great one maybe to articulate, like we talk about role playing. What would I say there versus, no, we're not. We are open first thing on Monday morning. Like, if you think of something ahead of time,
But it's an anxiety thing in me. It's not that I knew I could say it. It's just at the split second it kind of caught me off guard, and then all of a sudden, like in my mind, I'm like, oh, I just can't say this right now. Like I
no,
couldn't bring myself.
I agree. I understand fully what you're saying. I'm saying practicing exactly what to say will help it come out quicker. And even writing it down, typing it seriously on a piece of paper and say, no, thank you, or no, we can't. Leave me alone. Stop calling me here. You're annoying. That's exactly right. Just something and that's a great example of a good baby step. Know that these are strangers and people. It can be much worse with someone we really, really care about. We've got years of practice of bad boundaries, and we're trying to slowly change that Titanic. Someone I don't know at all. Sometimes it's easier to say, no, nope, sorry, we don't. So that's a good place to start. And if you start there, start praising yourself very quickly. Another little tip is this has been very helpful for me personally. Very. Back to the bathroom example of changing the bathroom, whatever. If people say, well, why not blah, blah, I did it for you, is just immediately go the healthy route. That is, the longer you pause more, it tells your brain it's worth being scared about. If you do it long enough, it's how phobias start. And you start avoiding it. If you start avoiding those things, avoiding it, you have a phobia. You become conflict avoidant. And then every time someone ever disagrees about anything, your heart rate just races up. And now heart racing is fine. It's what you do with it. So what I'm saying is to really diminish how much your heart races, anxiety, all that is you just go for it. So as soon as they say, hey, are you open on Saturday? Nope, we're not. Just don't even have time to pause. If someone comes up, well, I did that for you. Oh, that's good. Is that why you did it? Just don't pause and I'll write them an email. I'll write them a letter. I'll call. Don't wait. Just trust yourself. And that takes practice.
And that's kind of like,
trust yourself.
Anger thing can be good too, because that kind of makes me feel angry if somebody would do it because they want me to do it with them.
Yeah. Boy, that strikes me as very unfair.
Not faster, like be mad, not faster, like sit there and
yeah.
But together to go, wow, I didn't, kind of like you said, but I didn't realize that was in you. Like, that kind of upsets me that you didn't think, just to kind of let the anger be there instead of just.
Absolutely. I've told people, I've said,
that doesn't sound very common.
I thought our friendship was different than that. Or I thought the nature of our relationship was different than that. Wow, I didn't know that about you. That's good to know. Oh, man, that's upsetting to me. I didn't know that about you. Just right then, you're stating how you feel. You're not being unchristian. You're not calling names, judging, telling them they ought not ever do that. Let that be to God or Scripture or something. But you're, wow. No, we're not. Just blah, blah, blah.
And it's practicing with people who are saved.
It's practicing.
Something came up with my mom, and I disagreed with her. She didn't, she came back, and I disagreed with her, but it was like, I know my mom's gonna love me regardless, and she's not gonna admit that whatever it was, the wrong or whatever, but it's okay, but I still said it, and I felt good that I said it. There you go. It may not change behavior, but she's big, and to you, I can say no. I want to.
The more scared you are of saying no, you're scared of their feelings. I guarantee you, the more of that you are now, say 0 to 10, if you're like 7, 8, 9, 10, I guarantee it's because as a child, you had some very dysfunctional parents at some level. Because you felt overly responsible for their feelings. And that usually when you feel overly responsible for a parent's feelings, it's the parent's fault. At some level, that is, they cause you, or that makes me sad that you do. That makes me angry, or they cut you off, or they abandon you for 3 days because they're mad at you because they did whatever it is, you didn't clean your room. It taught you somehow that a relationship is at stake if I don't fix this. Yeah. Authority figures. Very often it's parents, but it can be authority figures, someone else. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Go ahead. There you go. Everyone in your family a people pleaser. That means and that's just called. We call that learned behavior. That's what that is. So the learned behavior label matters for a lot of people. It matters to me, not in judgment, but in therapy. That is, a learned behavior is different from a character disorder. They're different things. Learned behaviors can be disabused. You can unlearn them. They're disabused. Absolutely. Character disorders are something you manage, and it's chronic for the rest of your entire life. You need meds and therapy and whatever, and you can manage it. Learned behavior might be that route, meds and learn whatever. But oftentimes you go, oh, I don't do that anymore. and a lot of times people can get more solution or healing faster than someone. Doesn't mean either one is just messed up for life, but that's, yeah. Whenever someone says, "Oh, my whole family's warriors, my whole family's," you go, "Oh, they probably learn behavior." Now you might have some other psychological thing, some root that causes that, maybe. But if I were a therapist, I'd go, the odds are the highest probability, if I were a bet man, it's probably a learned behavior. Now, some people do pass on genetically some kind of anxiety disorders, right? Generalized anxiety disorder is probably the most common one out there. But many people in America suffer from anxiety disorders. So you say, "Mom, well, my mom and grandma, they're all anxious." Well, it might be learned behavior. It might be also they pass down to you less dopamine or whatever it is, right? Whatever it is. But so much, when you say a whole family and what we call systems therapy, when these different family dynamics are placed, they ingrain in us. I mean, we see the world that way, right? That's how the world works. You're supposed to worry. You're supposed to gossip. Or you're supposed to whatever it is, or be a people pleaser, or never say the word no, or, Yeah, and you can unlearn all that. Woo, praise God. Babies and stuff, and we'll talk more about that maybe some other time if you want, I know because of time. But any other question or comments about this? Anything at all? Any other example or role play? Nothing? Girls, did you get all this? Good stuff. Boom. Did y'all watch any of this before? Have you had any conversations about it? No, so this is just it. Just a cold shower. Jumped right in there. Oh, good for you. Good for you. Good. Well, listen, I just encourage you one more time. You really can say the baby knows. You can practice. You're worth it. It's okay and a good thing to love yourself. It's a good thing to love yourself. It just is. Jesus said, right, love your neighbor as you love yourself. It's a good thing. And we love ourselves. We show we love ourselves when we take care of what we value. And we do not allow other people to violate what we value. We value our character, our thoughts, our feelings, our attitudes, our beliefs, all these. They're ours. They're ours. And I love myself. And I want to take care of all that's in me. And I love you enough to not try to take care of all of your stuff, because that would stunt your growth. I want you to take care of your own property. I want to take care of my own. There'll be times when I come along as support for you and you can support for me. But when we do that, healthy people do that freely. And they never feel morally responsible. Because why? It's just a treat. It's just a treat to encourage you. It's a treat for you to encourage me. But I am responsible for all this. That's what healthy boundaries is all about. Taking care of me, you take care of you. And then if we're healthy people growing up, we'll help each other. We'll help each other. It's good. It's a loving, wonderful relationship. And people will give things freely. They help you out, help you move and fix that bathroom just because they want to give a gift. That's it. They just want to help. They don't expect anything in return. They're not mad at you if you don't help them. Just want to love a person. That's love. So we have boundaries in ourselves, with other people, everybody. So in that case, I'll stick on afterwards. If you have any questions, let me say prayer before we close it out. Lord Jesus and Father, Son, and Spirit, thank you for having good boundaries yourself. God, I confess, and maybe others do as well, confess that it's just not always fun to hear no from you. We want yes from you at all times, like you're some cosmic genie. And that's just awful. It's horrible. Nevertheless, there are times that's what we want. We want you to do what we want. Especially, well, I think especially, when we think it's for the right thing or the good thing, and we think so-and-so should be healed, or we should get that job. Lord Jesus, help us trust you, know that you know how the impact of all these consequences will be for the kingdom and for our planet for centuries. You know all of it. Help us trust you that you're a good God and you see the whole picture, and that your no is a good no. That your own boundaries within yourself, boundaries in Scripture, boundaries with us. Help us also have boundaries with you. That is to say, not try to manipulate you. That we respect your no. And we don't go after you thinking that if we perform a certain way, then you'll perk up. Any kind of that bad nonsense theology. Help us instead see what you are, a loving Heavenly Father who has will and wishes and desires, and that includes the word no when you want to be no. Just like you told Jesus that no, basically, that cup will not pass from him because it serves the purposes of the kingdom. Lord God, we need your help, of course, all through our lives. We have relationships with people. Help us be healthy people. Help us grow up, mature, get our wounds healed, get our learned behavior out if it's unhealthy, and certainly if it's sinful. Help us stop all that stuff and get it out of our lives and not ever be part of the problem of a dysfunctional relationship. Lord Jesus, we know, you know perfectly, there are people in our lives right now who are dysfunctional and they're toxic, and they've not gone through healthy boundaries before and these kind of classes, and they're more immature. Help us not try to fix them or control them or manipulate them or guilt at them or be angry at them instead, or stay in a state of anger, of course, but instead focus on who we are, what we value, and loving ourselves, and try to defend that, not turn into the person who tries to change or fix other people, just as much as you don't do that for other people either. We need your help for that. Need your help in the baby knows, need your help in the big knows, whatever it might be, that we act kindly and lovingly, really as gently and loving as we can, and still have a self that you love. And for all these things, of course, the glory of Jesus, we pray. Amen.